Tasha's here.
Hi, Claudia. Hi, Jen.
My laptop has a mind of its own. It's just jumped off the group and went to somewhere else.
Lots of tech things tonight going on.
Oh, it's just one of those things.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us. You okay, Liz? Let me know.
Hi, we've got Claudia, Jennifer. Hi, everyone. We've got Brenda Lee.
Hi, Brenda.
And there you go. That's better. I've just got it side by side now. Took me a while to get this working. I don't know. I'm so technologically challenged. I'm convinced that I shouldn't work in IT because I have no idea. Honestly. So we've got all our crystals with us, and I'm going to pass this over to Ali because this is the A to Z of everything is energy, and I think we should make a start because we've got people rocking in.
Yeah.
Over to you, Ali.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight, and we're honoured to have the wonderful Addie Lambourne with us this evening from Green Tara Earth Guardians, of which Liz and I are both part of the core group there as well, working to anchor in light to Mother Gaia and, really take us into that highest timeline. So welcome, Addie. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you this evening?
Hello, beautiful angels. I'm just so excited and delighted to be here with you. And I am so honored to have started the Green Tara group, which really was something that I knew I had to do. I didn't want to do it. My guides were forcing me in a way. They were telling me if I don't start it, I will be caught in this karmic loop.
Okay.
So, and that's really important because every single one of us has a mission that we came here with. And so for me, when I was born, I think I instantaneously knew, okay, I'm on planet Earth. I have this mission. I need to complete it. And my guides kept guiding me all my life. And 2020 just got very intense when it came to this service work. So when I started the group, I think, Ali, you were one of the first people I found who joined this beautiful group. And then it just grew into such a powerful team. And this is the service work that we came here for. And I know that there are never any coincidences. We are all in the same cosmic body of creation. And you often hear me talk about the rainbow serpent, and so many of you have had experiences and you know the rainbow serpent. You know, Liz being Australian, you know the rainbow serpent. She's inside of us. She is what we call the Kundalini. But she's also in the earth. She created life on planet Earth, and she is a creator being. We can call her Mother, Father, God. And so we are all part of her skin. Her skin, every single scale is one of us. And so when we have invocations such as, I am one with my Mother, Father, God, and Mother, Father, Creator, what we really are saying that we are one scale, part of the big body of the rainbow serpent. And so I am just a little scale. And so many beautiful scales came together in your group, in our group, to do this service work for our rainbow serpent, our Father, Mother, Creator, because it is her, and I call her her, even though, it's he, her.
Yeah.
So the rainbow serpent is the one who is going through the biggest transformation of planetary existence ever. And we all, being the scales in her body, every single one of us is equal, of course. And we all are in service to her skin. And because it is her expanding her own skin, it started in 2020. It was this big explosion of her own planetary body. It is her who is causing all these changes that humanity is witnessing. But also, we are in obviously a relationship with the rainbow serpent, with Mother Earth, with the Green Tara. And so, what we do matters because you want every scale to be in her, in his fullness. And so, the changes we have seen in 2020 are really unprecedented. What happened in 2020 for those who see? So for me, my training, I say I'm a mystic, but also I'm an academic researcher in the field of consciousness at John F. Kennedy University in California. So my research has always been about Kundalini, and I really didn't know why I was researching it. It just ended up being my field until I fully understood this revelation that came to us. Because, you know, the rainbow serpent, to some people, she's a complete myth. And we have even a lot of spiritual people who are advanced mystics. And when you ask them about the rainbow serpent, they will tell you she's just a myth. She doesn't exist. It's just a story. But the thing is, she is really who the earth is. And she came to planet Earth from source when life did not exist. And she seeded life from her own body. And so many of us actually came originally out of her body to create life, nature, humanity on planet Earth. So for me, my research about Kundalini, it really just really blows me away how everything is guided in life. And so as a mystic, I had my guides since my childhood. I still have my guides. Your guides really can change. You can upgrade. You can also downgrade. It depends on the work that you do and how much you listen. So for me, sometimes I upgraded, but also I've downgraded when I didn't listen to the guidance I was receiving. Your guides never want to waste their life force on anyone who is not listening. So if your guides will be telling you you need to activate your light body, you need to meditate 2 hours a day, you need to stop drinking coffee, you need to stop eating animals, and you don't do it, your guides will try one more time because they have to use life force to guide you. And when we do not listen to their guidance, it's like saying, okay, I am wasting your precious life force. And so my guides were guiding me all my life to activate my light body, to work with the rainbow body, to code my light body, to open my third eye, and all of these really good things. And so that allows me to see what I would call the quantum field, which is infinite, and it goes all the way to source. My major guide I often speak about is Yogananda. Yogananda was he's actually a guide for many of us. So we have planetary guides, you can call them avatars, and they work with millions of people at once. And so it's nothing personal. The way that our guides guided us this year is to really be of service, 100% selfless, and to go through all the different shifts. So for me, with Yogananda, who helped me throughout my life, to activate my Kundalini, to open my third eye, I was able to witness the changes that really happened on planet Earth this year. And to some people, they are invisible. And to some people, when they see it, you know, it's a whole new story because you don't see the world as it is. You only see the energetics of it. And so to take you on a little journey of what happened in 2020, just for those who maybe felt it, some of us saw it. So this was unbelievable. We've been through science fiction in 2020, and our DNA was activated to 12 strands. And that means we now have access to all 12 dimensions of existence, and we exist in all of those dimensions. On some dimensions, we do not exist as individuals anymore. We exist only as a soul family. And so for me, when I'm in the 9th dimension, I am part of a collective. And the collective is what we would call the Shambhala. So when you are, let's say, in the 9th dimension, which is now everyone can have access to all these. So in the 9th dimension, as you are part of a very large collective, you no longer can do really anything just on your own or for yourself. It is always as one family. And that is so amazing to experience. Our highest consciousness exists in the 11th dimension, and we also have access to that. So, if you see it or don't see it, it doesn't matter. But now you can tap into your multidimensionality in a way like never ever before because of 2020. Now, I always thought that we had to work really hard, on our spiritual growth. So I would spend hours and hours in meditation and every day and for years. And in 2020, it seemed like grace was upon us. Instead of us having to work hard, we actually just kept receiving activation. And this was really a big surprise because we were helped by, again, this planetary being that we can call the rainbow serpent. And she is a creator being. And so, coming directly from source, of course, this source light is changing us. So the big change came when obviously we became multidimensional through an activation. So it's spontaneous. You wake up one morning and you just think differently, feel differently, your consciousness is different, so you act differently. And in August 2020, when we went through the Lion's Gate, my family, we go to Mount Shasta, which is a very sacred place that just opens you up to multidimensionality. So I was able to watch the miracles that happened. The miracles that happen in August in all of our lives, every single one of us, because we all are, that's, the scale. So it's important that nobody's excluded. In August, something unbelievable was downloaded into our being. I don't like saying soul because we are not a soul. We are a being that has a soul. And so into our being, which includes our physical body, we got downloaded a structure, which is a rainbow structure. It's a multidimensional structure of what people call the I am. In a way, you can call it your divine self. It is the direct being that was created from source. And so that got downloaded into us. It's almost as if something left, which used to make up the human being, and I would call it the human ego. And now we are that divine being, fully integrated. So when we chant, I am presence, we are affirming that we are divine and that we are fully integrated with our rainbow structure. Now this structure now is in all of us. It's geometry. Now geometry means that it changes our light body, it changes our physicality, it changes our mind, it changes our emotions. It actually rewrites also all our past lives in a way that we truly become clean. And that's what's happening now. Like people are maybe noticing, physical changes, we are adjusting. In September, what happened, we started to receive the solar flashes throughout 2020. They are energetic, so people were expecting to receive it physically. I still think there is a possibility the solar flash will come in a physical reality, but so far we received so many energetically. Now they are rewiring our nervous system, and our nervous system really is where the Kundalini flows, where the rainbow serpent flows when she comes from the earth. But also our nervous system, our brain has been rewired. We got an activation that activated our right brain, so the divine mother within us got activated more. And as these solar flashes would come, usually in the middle of the night, if you can see them, witness them, I think Liz, you Ali as well, I know some of the people here on the call, they experience it. So what happens is that really it rewires your nervous system. It rewires how the flow of cosmic energy and earth energy flows through you. That was preparing us for December 21st. Now, in September, another very powerful thing happened. The poles shifted slightly to align what mystics would call the axis mundi within the earth, and that is the tree of life within the earth. What it means, the tree of life, when you look at it, has roots, it has the trunk, it has the crown. When you connect the roots and the crown, it creates a sphere. Now, that means that life is eternal. It flows constantly through these 3 stages of creation. So the roots, they are in a way distraction. So you create, soil. It is dying, but then we have the trunk, which is you preserve life, you let it flow, and then the crown is the blossoming, it's creation. So, like we have the three Hindu gods or goddesses, they always represent the three stages of creation. So, the three stages of creation in the tree of life within the earth, they were misaligned for thousands of years. Last time when the world really kind of ended, it was the flood. And so, since then, we've been in the new world after the flood. But as you know, humanity really didn't manage to use life force positively and constructively. So there was a big misalignment within the earth. She always responds to her children. We are her children. And so when the children are misbehaving, the earth has to adjust to that. I would say failure to use life force constructively, in a way correctly, because there is a correct flow of things. You can call it a divine plan. And so in September 2020, this life force flow within the earth was corrected. Now that's huge. That again prepared us for December. On December 21st, it really started November 30th. We started to receive incredible activations again. We were blasted with upgrades every single day and night. A lot of people saw what was happening. And on December 21st, two things happened that are really major. First of all, the old earth completely died, but instantaneously, she was resurrected to be in her fullness and flooded with Christ light and Christ consciousness and pure prana, pure chi, pure life force. And this to some people appeared as blue light all around the earth. Now that's absolutely unbelievably huge. So whoever was expecting the world as we knew it ended, they were right, it ended. But then we became upgraded, and this was the biggest upgrade a human being has ever received. Every single one of us received an upgrade to be the living Christ. Now, living Christ has nothing to do with Jesus. Jesus was a great teacher. He embodied the Christ. The living Christ is a being that is fully aligned with Source. Living Christ is the middle point between the two loops of creation. So when you have the infinity symbol, and the middle point is Christ consciousness. So in Sufism, we have the wonderful Rumi who said something outside of the good and wrong, there is a field and I will meet you there. We have in Buddhism the middle path. We have in Christianity living from the heart. So what we are learning in all of those traditions is that the middle point is very important. Taoism speaks about the middle point beautifully. That is the point of the living Christ. The living Christ is the sun, and it is the sun, S-U-N. It is the shining radiance of the sun. It is the shining radiance of divine source consciousness into all that is, in a way that is unconditional. It is beyond judgment. It doesn't see right and wrong. It only sees love. And it is the sun. And as you know, the physical sun is a representation of Source. So the only thing that Source can do is shine the light and love to all. And so the living Christ does that too. And that's now us. We have this amazing opportunity to become it, because now it's inside of us. It's a seed inside of us. So how do we make it grow? The way to make it grow is to listen to your I am, your divinity within you, and to listen to your heart. And now I think the problem is that we have so many habits of what we used to be. But since we received these activations, a lot of these habits of who we used to be got rewired, and that's a great gift. So now it's the time to be spontaneous and to listen to the flow of the rainbow serpent within you, which is the life force that flows through us, and then listen to what she wants to do with you. In a way, she shows me that if you can imagine yourself as a completely empty vessel, but you are a being, of course, but you have an energetic heart. And the heart is like a quantum computer. It's capable of calculating every option in the entire cosmos. Now, this life force flows through you. The heart calculates your options, and then this life force makes the best choice for you. So, if you have any struggles in your life, the best thing you can do is to completely empty yourself. And all our traditions have always been telling us empty your mind and then open your heart. It's very simple, it's 2 steps. And then let the life force animate you. And she is your mother. She is the rainbow light of source. She only can manifest greatness in everyone's life. And the more we really allow her to flow so fully, the more she can manifest the world she already knows is the best for this planet. So it's not so much about fixing something, because when we try to fix something, we actually are focusing on the fact that it is broken. So we can say, as humans, we are in a world that actually only was built on broken systems. Every single system you look at, I don't know. I think the only thing that worked here were non-profit organizations, because that's service to something. But then they had to depend on money. And so that's also not a great system. When you want to do great work in the world, you don't want to depend on some monetary system that is completely toxic. And so instead of looking at all the broken systems we have, we now are the architects of the new earth. And because she is flooded with so much life force, it is the best time for the architects who are really dedicated to completely just empty their mind, forget the old world, because anyway, it's going to dissolve. It's gone. It just has to dissolve now. And focus on this planetary well-being for all. And that's what we are doing with our Green Tower team. We have done so much incredible work. And of course, that includes you two beautiful angels. So what we're doing, we first transmuting these old systems, the ancient darkness, and darkness meaning, it's not entities and it's not enemies. There's nothing to fight. It's just energy that was misused. It's just life force that was not used correctly. And so that needs to get transmuted so that the new seeds that we are planting here as the architects of new reality can grow and blossom. We are just cleaning up. Yogananda always said, you guys came here to clean up the mess that you made. And so, yes, we made mess. We made so much mess as humanity. So now someone needs to clean it up, and not everybody's awake, not everybody's conscious, and there will be people who still will be making mess. But because this life force is so precious, it is the greatest gift of life. And whoever will misuse life force now will be slapped in the face, and it's going to happen very fast. So people will learn through suffering, or people will know and will not suffer anymore, because now you must be so responsible. Every single one of us, we must be so responsible with this gift of life force, which is the rainbow serpent. When these seeds of consciousness are planted, we are planting seeds of well-being for all, harmony for all, consciousness for all, joy for all. Every single planetary aspect needs to be replanted, so that these new systems that will be built in one thing. And that is the one foundation that the Divine Mother always speaks about is love for life. This is the most important thing to her when she talks to me. So maybe she talks to you differently, of course. Everybody is connected to her. So for me, she says, please help everyone love life again. Because our life is not what we thought it was. It's not the little lives. It's not the job. It's not the relationships. It's not the money. Our life originally was meant to be something very different, and we are actually going to restore that. It is the life of thriving and creating, and it is not creating little things. It's not creating a new car. We are creating the entire planetary systems. And so the biggest one that we need to recreate is that every system needs to be based in reverence for all life. That means that all life is sacred. And so right now we're going through in America, for example, we're going through this right and wrong and right and left, and a lot of light workers were misled about all this political stuff. And it's a shame to actually invest yourself in any of it, because you have that life force where you can say, you know what? I am now creating with Divine Mother, with the Rainbow Serpent, and I'm asking her, how would you like to create leadership in this world? Should we have governments? What should they do? Who should be the leaders? What type of consciousness do we want? And so working with her consciously and just not focusing on anything that exists still in this world, because we want something else. I think that we all agree.
Mhm.
Woo! All right. So that's what she had to say now.
Like, what a
Fantastic.
journey. Like, what a journey. I mean, really, I really enjoyed listening to Addie just taking us through the year. And oh my gosh, those activations, like I felt it really in August, that whole energy shift. I was already saying the new earth is here, because that was just so powerful in August. And just that constant activation at night in December was just overwhelming. Like, I was just experiencing so many physical symptoms, and I kept calling Ellie up saying, oh, Ellie, can you run that frequency stuff on me? Because, like, I am just broken. I don't know what's wrong with me. But you're absolutely right. Everything that you've said, and, the work that we do in Green Tara is just so important to me, because we are working together, creating this new earth.
Co-creation. It's all about co-creation.
Exactly. And but we're doing it at that conscious but also subconscious level, spiritually, which it's just amazing when you do find your soul family and you do it together. It's just
it's like quantum, isn't it?
Right.
Quantum level, and like you say, soul family finding each other. Honestly, the last year has been just incredibly hard at times. No one said it was going to be easy, but just incredible. Fantastic. And yeah, going right back to the beginning, Addie, when you described obviously us all being the scales on the Rainbow Serpent, and I that is just so true, and having experienced that within our work as well, and actually seeing that, and it's just everything that we've experienced together and been shown and then worked through energetically, and just being a part of all of this is just, it's what we came for, isn't it? And it's just so fulfilling. And it's just everything. It's just everything.
Yeah. It is. It's really amazing. Is it okay? She has one thing that she really
of course.
Yeah, go for it.
She actually, I asked her what is the most important thing that she wants to say today, and she said, please see the world through your new eyes. And let go of the habitual scene, because now everything actually is changing. And I mentioned to you guys, Yulukai, he called last night and he said, people were so disappointed when they didn't see any changes on December 21st. And he said, but nature, she already upgraded. And that's something that we actually have been seeing with our group when we do our group work, that nature, all the beautiful plant lives, plants, obviously, in the sky is looking different. And here in California, it's winter, but everything looks like it's spring. Everything's blossoming, flowers are blossoming. And so nature is already emanating this new energy. And so I love grounding myself barefoot outside every single day, all the time. I walk barefoot whenever I can, even in the rain when it's cold. Because when you put your bare feet on her body, you become so connected to her that when she changes, you change. And so there is this magnetic field. So we have the electromagnetism of the earth. But the thing is that the new energy will be magnetic. Magnetism is the energy of love. True love is magnetic. So when you have a partner, true love is like two magnets coming together, and that's something we don't have. We cannot have it with someone who is not true love. So when magnetic couples come together, they just stick. That's it. They have a mission. They are on purpose. There is no conflict. There is no growth, because the magnets do not need to grow to be in love. They already are love. And so magnetic of the earth, the magnetic energy, now is being really beamed into our feet and into our bodies. So I would say to everyone, if you want to catch up with the earth, then just spend a lot of time being barefoot outside, because she's feeding us this new energy. The thing is that the sun is also part of this alchemy, of course, and so that's why we're getting these solar flares. Some of them are energetic, some of them are physical. We've just had some physical ones that rewired the earth. And so the magnetic field is really the new energy. Now, I will be doing a workshop tomorrow. It will be very similar to this, but I want to also add to it that now, as we are creators, this is how the Divine Mother explains creation to me. So she says that each one of us is like the sun, and we are in the center of a solar system. That's you. You are the sun of your life. Your solar system is your life. All the planets orbiting around you are the people. Some of them you know, some of them you don't know. Everybody is held in your orbit through magnetic force. Now, the magnetic force comes from within the being. So you actually are a magnetic being, and you are a magnet attracting life to you. This is how life works. It's the only principle that allows life not to be chaotic, because we all get what we actually have within us. So as you are a magnet, you might think there is a magnet for abundance, there is a magnet for relationship, there is a magnet for, health, well-being. Now, each magnet needs to be cleaned up for it to work, right? So we've had other lifetimes, we've had, this lifetime, that's like a big load of things that happened. And so now we just need to clean up the magnets. And in the end, there is just one magnet, and that is your heart. And so when your heart is clean, your magnet is clean. And the only way that can happen is when you become really Christed and you become all encompassing love, just like the sun. Keep radiating, and that will attract into your orbit only the good things, because life was always meant to be good. Here on planet Earth, we actually failed, and I tell you how we failed, even though Divine Mother has no judgment, but there is a preference, and the preference is for all beings in all universes, in the entire cosmos, to honor life force. The way to honor life force is to allow it to flow through the all loving heart and then express it with love. Because every single one of us is part of the body of the rainbow serpent, and not only here on planet Earth, but also in terms of our galactic existence. So when you look at planet Earth, of course, she's not planetary because she is galactic, just like everything is in cosmos. It is cosmic. And now, as we have more responsibility with life force, we can no longer do what we did last time when the world got flooded, because we misused life force. And so what happened last time was life force got misused to actually create suffering for others. And life force was misused when it was used for selfish desires or just selfishness. So, we need to really restructure our own consciousness to be constantly selfless. And the only way we can do it is when we realize that when we hurt someone else with a thought, with emotion, with words, with action, we are hurting Divine Mother. And so what she shows me is that a very important event happened in Egypt, very ancient Egypt, when humans stopped loving Divine Mother and replaced Divine Mother with different gods. And we do have different creator beings, this is a very large field of creation. But when you forget the origin of things, then you forget who you are. And when you forget who you are, you also forget how to live. And that's what happened. So now we need to remember Divine Mother. We have to remember Source. We also have to remember what we call the Celestial Father, but we also have to remember Christ. And when we remember who they are, then we remember what we are, and then we remember that we are all one. And so how could we live selfishly in this field of creation where we are actually in just one body, And so if you are a scale or a cell in a body, you don't want to be hurting other cells in your own body. But that's what humanity did, right? So now we have to really start creating systems that are completely based in honoring Divine Mother and in honoring each other and in honoring life force. Now, this is all really what is going to we are going to be invited to do that in 2021, 2022, because this is a huge opportunity to really create the new earth that we will all love.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, no,
Fantastic.
I'm listening. I was listening to all of that and I just thought, life force, right? The whole concept life force. So, as you all know, I do Reiki. So, Reiki, if I translate Rei, that means REI, that means universe. Ki is energy, life force. So, every time I keep hearing that, Addie, I keep thinking, yeah, we have abused life force since, probably the beginning of time, right?
Yeah,
So it is time to correct all of that, and we've been given an opportunity to do that, right? So
it is. And you're so right.
embraced it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think Atlantis, wasn't it, is where it all went wrong. I think Lemuria is what I feel very connected to, and hopefully what we're going to recreate the new Lemuria, well, the new Earth, but on the same kind of basis of, living at one with Mother Nature, like the indigenous tribes still do, and kind of using their guidance and our guidance through our connection of how to sort of, start again. And
Absolutely. Now we've got quite a few people online. I'm just wondering, Addie, are you happy to take questions if anyone has any question for you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So over to you guys. If there's some burning question that you've always wanted to ask Addie, now's your time. And while we're just keeping an eye on the chat, whilst the questions rock in, Addie, so tell us a little bit about tomorrow and that workshop on Green Tara.
So I have to be honest, I don't prepare these workshops that I teach. What I do is the same thing I do here. I go off camera. I am in my meditation room. I close my eyes, connect to the mother and her flow. And I just read whatever is in her field that she wishes to say to those who are on the call. And I wanted to speak a little bit about our mission. So we all came here with a mission, and a lot of us received very simple missions here. Anchor light from source into the earth. And you would think, wow, that's, I'll go outside, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to anchor light into the earth, and it doesn't seem like a big deal, but it is the most important mission you can have. To be that open channel, to be the open holy grail, and to be in this world, in this planetary web, and to be anchoring light from source into the earth. And I always wanted a bigger mission, like I want to be traveling through galaxies and I want to be meeting with other beings and then come here and be of service. But no, anchoring light on planet Earth, that's what we're here to do. And if we can do it, oh my goodness, we're going to transform the entire Earth by doing that.
Mm-hmm. And it's so interesting how, we just know things. It's like I've always felt a connection. I've been connected to elementals, to spirit and what have you. And it wasn't until I started to really work on sort of, just letting go and not trying to make things happen and just being in meditation every day that the visions came through, and just the knowing, it just came. And like you say, when things changed in September 2019, October, I just started knowing that, it was about the divine feminine. And I thought, well, what's that? And all this knowledge just started coming to me. And I just, knew it because obviously I was connected. That's why you came here, for the divine feminine, and then holding space. And I was thinking, what's holding space? And what's multidimensional? But all this knowing just unfolded. And then obviously met Soul Family and was guided every step of the way. And I think, like you say, it's just obviously allowing the flow and staying open for that guidance, and then coming from that heart base, and obviously the collective co-creation guidance that we have together. And yeah, have we got any questions coming?
We do have a question that's come in, but before we get to it, I was just going to say Dimension Diving Dancers said, yes, you know, hey, anchoring. Anchoring is very important. So we've got a question from Karen Jackson. So she's got, not sure of my mission. Nice to have a driven, in spirit, joyous career. Too creative for own good equals hop from things to things. So I guess the question is, just reading this again,
it's her mission. Yeah.
You know, not sure of her mission because, like, you know, she is clearly a driven person, joyous person, quite creative, but she probably finds she hops from things to things. So in that respect, what do you think, Addie?
I happen to know our beautiful soul sister Karen. We lived together in Cyprus in 2008, 2009. So I was doing a lot of spiritual work in Cyprus. I used to work in politics. I quit my job and I moved to Cyprus. And I was running spiritual workshops. And that's how I met Karen. And so just knowing her, so I want to say, we all have gifts. Some of us have specific, you know, personal gifts. Some of us have collective gifts. So sometimes the gift is, so for me, I know my gifts, but one of them is very strange. I was given a frequency that is within me that comes out when I speak, and yet it is not my voice. It's a frequency that is transmitted as a vibration whenever I am just talking to people. And I used to do workshops in person, and clairvoyant people would see it as rainbow light all around. And that is, you know, a gift. So just by talking to people, you can be affecting huge change. Just by skipping from one thing to another, you can be an elemental being who is constantly working night and day with the elementals, and you don't even know it. You can be anchoring light, you can be clearing space. You know, some people, and this is my soul family here, what we do, we have light bodies that were designed to clear the planetary grid. And I know these beings, we work out of body. And when you are in your light body, every light body is different. But if you belong to a collective that needs to be working together, then let's say there would be 10 of us and we have the same light body, the same coding, the same shape, the same color. And we travel across the planet, and we do this consciously, actually, because if you can see it, then it's very conscious. And you are making so many changes in the planetary grid, assisting humanity to uplift consciousness. And so even if you think you're not doing anything, even if you're just feeling this and that, it doesn't matter. Your light body is doing the work. Your being is doing the work, you know. So I would say just surrendering to whatever we are and saying, this is the gift, I am that.
Yes.
Good
And I
response.
think being so creative, Karen, and just sort of doing all these different things, it's not a bad thing. It's being open to all the different multi-dimensional ways of being creative and letting source flow through you. And I think, you know, I think that's lovely. That's amazing. And it's just keep going with that. And I think the path that you're meant to be on will just keep unfolding to you and keep, you know, showing itself as we proceed, as I'm sure it will for a lot of us.
Karen just said, yes, friends, saw us talking. Oops. Another comment just came in, and then I've just lost.
That's all right. Saw us talking with a bald, golden tall man in my dream time. It was you.
Oh, wow.
And one more thing, you know, like I know Karen, she's an amazing mom. She's an amazing wife. She's a great friend. And just imagine what that does to human consciousness when you have a great mother, great wife, and a great friend. That is the living Christ in us.
Mm-hmm.
So true. And just reading what Claudia has written, being a multi-dimensional being, are we working on different aspects of our being all at once so that there is a constant downloading process from all dimensions? Question mark.
Yes.
Does the downloading process travels through all dimensions of being? Question mark.
Yes. So I often speak about the 12 dimensions just to describe them to people in a way so that it's understandable. So if you imagine a big tower, and that tower is your being. Now, the tower is split into 11 floors, and each floor is a different dimension. The top floor is the 11th dimension, and the 12th dimension is outside of all of those. So it's beyond the tower. Now, let's say you are on the 3rd floor of the tower, and there will be a crack in the wall, and no windows, no doors. And so in the 3rd dimension, the only way to see all that is, which is the 12th dimension, you would have to be able to see through the crack of the wall, which is impossible. And you would have to be one of those mystics who meditate, who try to see a little more. If you go up to the 5th dimension, there will be a hole in the wall, but it will be so small, it will be the size of an apricot. And then in the 5th dimension, that's your access to all that is. It's very limited still. If you go up to the 11th dimension, it is all glass. You only see all that is, but you can't get to it just yet. So it is transcending all 11 dimensions to become actually your highest self and all those. That is transcendence. So imagine yourself here, let's say in the 3rd dimension, and you become the master being of all dimensions. That means you will only show up as your highest self, no matter where you're at. That is mastery. And so that's what we're doing. It's a game, you know, we are in a game of life. The game is very simple. It is. You already You already are a divine being. You were created perfect, but now you're playing a game to see who you really are through experiences, and you arrive at the same place where you came from. It's really, it's like a computer game, you know, just having fun here.
Well, that's it. And I just love the way you use the word transcendence, because that's exactly what it is. You know, some people were saying that we were going to ascend to be masters, or people thought we were going to fly off this planet and go back to our starseed planet, and it's not like that. It's about transcendence through the various multi-dimensions. Well, I think it is anyway. I mean, that's just my thought. I mean, I could be totally wrong. I don't think I know everything, but I really resonate with that, Addie, what you just said, because I think that's the most logical thing. Anyway,
me too. I was just going to say that, you know, when I try and go, you know, some guided meditations or something like that, and they say go up these stairs and now you're here and things like that, I find that quite difficult. But when something just happens to me and I'm there and I'm fully immersed in it and I'm just in the flow and the light's coming in and I'm being shown things, and then sort of I come back from that and then I see the scene, then I know where I was, you know, and then I'll see the staircase and things like that. So for me, it's like, if I try and imagine these things and make them happen, it doesn't work, you know. But like you said, having the crack in the wall and being able to have a view through that. I had that experience recently when I had Angel Reiki with Ananda, Liz. And and we were somewhere else, very angelic, in an angelic realm, obviously, because it was angelic Reiki. And there was just this, it looked like a window, but it was like a massive sort of isosceles triangular crack in the wall, but like a window, but we could see a scene behind that. Yeah, very interesting. Sorry. Anyway, I'm rambling.
Not at all, Ellie. That was super wonderful. And you both, I adore you, and I'm being able to work with you is such an honor. You know, this is the planetary grid that we hold. You know, I'm in California, Liz is in Australia, you sweetheart in the UK, and we have so many more wonderful souls here, Canadians. And we have Zach in Mexico. I mean, this is how we do it. You know, it's fun. And the key is to become the master being of yourself in every single dimension. Now, the fun part about this game, the design of the game, it's really genius. Every single dimension has different conditions. So that's why the cracks in the wall are, you know, bigger as you go higher up. It makes it easier. It's always, the goal of the game is this. Let's say Source wanted to get to know itself fully. And the only way to get to know yourself is when you have experiences and you have reactions and you have actions, right?
Mm.
And so if I put you now in the third dimension and make it a little hard for you, like who do you become there? If I put you in the fifth dimension and you can see the source just a little bit, who do you become there? And when I put you in the 11th dimension and I'll let you see everything that is, but I will not let you out, who do you become there? And so, once we become the best version of us that is equal in all dimensions, so you become your highest self, there's only one, you are your divine being in all 11 dimensions, then you are back to source. Bam. You've collected experiences, you transcended your own being, and you are back. You upload all the information to source, and you go back down and you'll do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never experienced so many visuals and meditations than I did until I started working with you, Adi. It's just been absolutely phenomenal. And I know obviously we're in service for Mother and it's not about anyone's identity or one person, but just us all coming together as a soul family and just this whole experience and just being able to go into meditation and then sort of see source in all the different forms and see Mother in all the different forms. It's just amazing, isn't it? And it just, even though I know the next couple of years aren't going to be all plain sailing, because obviously there's a lot of resistance and chaos and systems breaking down to create the new, it's just, it just gives you that kind of that home, that center to come to, that support network, and that purpose really of something positive to create in these times. Oh, Lauren's here. Hi, Lauren.
I was just going to say, with Lauren, she's got, I think it's all about the flow state. I find I jump around from playing music to meditating to drawing to cooking to gardening. I'm all over the place, but I try to go with the flow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is all about energy flow. Mm-hmm. One particular thing that I particularly liked what you said too, Addie, is light body. Because some people, I don't know, for me, I don't know what other people's experience is, but when we do all meditate together and we have like a themed focus, we're going to go off and anchor light, say, in the Antarctic, that kind of thing. Mm. I see all of us as in, I see our light bodies and our energy imprints, and it's not like, how people describe it, we're different. Like there's a different light, there's a different, there's something that we bring, all of us bring something different to the table. And you can really see that energetically when we're doing our meditations. So that's what I particularly enjoy, the whole experience, but also knowing that we're collectively doing something for Mother Earth. Mm-hmm. That is just so important to me because we take so much. So this is our way of giving back. So that's why I just love the whole Green Tara Earth Guardian meditations and the whole concept behind it, because it's just, for someone like me, I'm very, very grounded, very analytical, very scientific, but for me it really works because I think, it's time to give back. And I think we do that really well because we pick themes and we make sure that we cover the whole globe.
Absolutely.
I'm just wondering if we've come up to an hour. Are you still good, Addie?
Yes, absolutely. And I just want to say I love you so much. I love our group. I am so grateful for every single scale in the body of the Rick Serpent for expanding with her so beautifully, and for everyone who's been really helping her to expand smoothly. Because there are two ways to expand. One is an explosion and the other one is a stretch. So we are just stretching, and this is because of the work that we do. And Liz and Ellie, what you do with your healing work, just flowing the life force. Now, about the work for the planet. The thing is that, when humans forgot about the goddess, there was a time in ancient Egypt when the goddess was worshipped and they knew her. And one of the major goddesses that work through us is Hathor. And Hathor was not just some Egyptian goddess. Hathor is what we would call the galactic grandmother. She is the one who always comes with the rainbow serpents. They are one, and they are really, it's almost like having a grandmother and the mother. So Hathor is our grandmother, mother. And when the goddess was forgotten, you can look at history of Egypt. There was a time when they worshipped her, and suddenly they started worshiping gods. And so that was the fall from grace, not knowing the mother. And by us realizing that on the small scale, this planet is our mother, and she is a representation of the big mother, let's say our galaxy. And so the rainbow serpent, when we fall in love with the mother again, we actually fulfill our purpose as the children. The purpose of all creation is very scientific, actually, so it's great for Liz. So, and it's also very spiritual. So I would say we are, scientists and mystics when we love the mother. It's not just the fairy tale, but there's also physicality beyond it. That is chemistry, it's physics, it's biology. Divine Mother creates through these laws of nature. And so the law of nature is, if I say it as a mystic, God, source, created beings. Let them out into the world to do their thing, create, build worlds, get lost. But then there is that desire for God, for source, for Divine Mother, for these beings to suddenly realize that they were created out of love, with freedom, by source. And in that moment, when the being realizes it fully, they have a relationship with source that is filled with love, adoration, and desire to be of service. Now that is it. So it's almost like you send out a magnet and wait for the magnet to come back to you through love. And that is really the big picture of creation. When a being awakens, it really means they realize that they are divine humans, in this case here. And they realize that because they are divine humans, they can only honor source energy, life force. And they will only use it to create beauty, perfection, expansion, bliss for all, because they realize who they truly are. So when a being awakens, people talk about awakening, but awakening really means knowing who you are and then serving source through love. And having that relationship, not Christian relationship like I love Father God, to me, that's not really understanding creation, but really deeply living in love with source in every moment and seeing that source light in all and seeing the perfection of source in all. And that way we become really Christed and we become like the living Buddha as well. When you cannot cause harm to any part of life, you have awakened.
That was absolutely beautiful, and 100% or even 200% agree with what you said, because that's exactly it. I mean, for me, when I had my awakening, it was absolutely that. It was about, loving self, finding source again, stripping back through all the layers, just getting back to that point where it's just me and divine source, right? Mm-hmm. And, also being a conduit and of service. Yeah. That is really, and that's where unconditional love comes into it. And that's why I love Reiki, because of the precepts, because it's all about that, just for today I won't anger, just for today I won't worry, just for today I'll love every living being, yada, yada, yada. But I guess what is really important is that we all understand we play a part, and once we tap into what it is that we bring to the table and what our purpose is and what our mission is, we are creating the new earth. We're making it a special place, just not for us here and now, but for future generations too. Because we're reprogramming our DNA. This is where epigenetics comes into it, right? So I think it's just an exciting time, and I'm just happy to be alive at this time right now. I mean, wow, well done, Sol, for picking, this time.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, this is the best time to be alive. I can't believe it. And yes, future generations, it could be us again, and we don't want to come back to a planet with no nature.
That's it. And just interestingly enough, I've probably got a question. So I've got this thing where I kind of go to some green planet when I meditate. And it was funny, last night I went there again, and but this time Mother Serpent was there. But it was like very, very pronounced. And then I thought, maybe came into my meditation because I was thinking about, us talking today, about Green Tara. But the more I think about it, it's like, no, I think it was kind of like there was a bit of connection there with Egypt. And you were talking about Egypt, and I seem to keep going back to Egypt. So I don't know what it is. Like, I can't put the connection together, but I'm just wondering if it's with what you just said before, Addie, about how, about the goddess and how about we forgot about nature, and then they started worshipping other gods. Maybe that's what is being shown to me.
It's amazing that that's where you go, sweetheart, because that is the new earth. So for those who go to the new earth already in meditations and lucid dreams, they go to a completely green planet.
Yeah.
Now, I love this. I studied sustainable development and politics in Australia, and I'm just saying it because Liz is here. It's just, I feel how we have always been guided in life, So for me, when I studied sustainable development, to me, the new earth is a sustainable world, 100%. She is a green planet. She is complete nature in abundance we have never seen before. It's almost like going to an ancient rainforest,
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. Yep. And everything in the new earth is actually integrated into nature instead of, abusing nature or cutting anything down. There is no such thing. Everything is integrated. So the human dwellings, so I go to the new earth and I communicate with the beings on the new earth, and many humans already transitioned to the new earth. It requires absolute purity. You cannot bring any unconsciousness with you to the new earth. So if you go to the new earth, you can also stay. It's quite amazing, and Yulukai speaks about it too. So the new earth is the kingdom of Mother Nature, and she is the abundance. She nurtures all beings through life force. There is no need for anything else but to be sustained, to co-create, and to study nature. So there is a field that we have now of biomimicry, which means we want to mimic nature, and that will be our future on the new earth. We'll be mimicking nature. So instead of abusing her, we'll be just co-creating with her. And she is going to be our teacher. And everything is going to happen through the heart. The heart quantum computer will help, not just help, but that will be who we become. We become the heart. And another thing is with the Egypt. So we have now cleared all the ancient timelines that happened in 2020. We had to go back to the timeline that really distorted things, which was ancient Egypt, where the goddess stopped being worshipped, where she was forgotten. When you forget goddess, you have forgotten about life. And so we have been, dead men walking in planet Earth for thousands of years. And we are now remembering what happened. And when planet Earth released darkness into the world a few days ago, she did it through the Pyramid of Giza. Because the darkness of human miscreation was held in the sand of our land, because it has silica, so that's used for computers, as as an IT person. And so she just released it because she loves us. She wants us to quickly get through it, so that we can start this new earth and be in this green paradise that already exists energetically.
That makes so much sense to me because, you know, pyramids are something that I always experience, and this connection to Egypt that I, at the beginning, couldn't put my finger on.
Yeah.
And just quickly to mention that when you were talking about the green planet and obviously everything being nature, when I was 15, I had an out-of-body experience with my best friend at the time, and we actually travelled to the New Earth, and I didn't
Tell
realise
me about this.
yeah, and I didn't realise what it was, obviously at the time, but I've never forgotten that, you know, and it's like 32 years ago, but I still remember it like it was yesterday. And, you know, I had the whole sort of body vibrating, and a being came and spoke to me through my friend and said they wanted me to come and see this place, you know, and they told me how to leave my body, and I went and I tried to do it, saw myself that night, didn't happen. The next day she went home, and we both arrived and got into this clear translucent globe that had no controls, no other beings were there, and then we flew it through you know, through our thought and traveled around, and that was all that was there, was nature. And it was absolutely beautiful. So I was 15 or 16 years old, and I just remember sort of, you know, all the wildlife, the trees, the land, and just thinking, oh my God, this is just, you know, incredible. This is how life should be. And then coming to a stop over the ocean and dropping into the ocean and seeing the creatures. And we reluctantly shared that with each other the next day on the phone, and I've never forgotten it. And sort of, you know, and then having starseed charts done and things, they've said that I'm, you know, connected to the portal to the new world. So I feel like that's why I was shown that back then, to be shown sort of what was possible, you know.
That's so beautiful. That's it. You know, the new world is the green Tara. Tara is a creative being, you know, and so I often speak about that too, that the fact is when you look at the green Tara as a Buddhist deity, you know, she's not Buddhist, she's a creator being, and her rainbow body is perfect. The new earth is the green Tara with her rainbow body surrounding her. She is a complete world in which all beings live in harmony with themselves and with each other and with Mother Nature.
Mm-hmm.
Dimension Diving Dancer saying, I had an experience in 2007 where I went to the New Earth. Also, I was told then by my guide that it was humanity 400 years in the future.
Oh, wow.
And she's also described it, which is, yeah, I'm there with you, the Dimension Diving Dancer. So it's luminescent green, simple, peaceful, united humanity. Because I see the whole iridescent, but when I was first seeing it, Addie, I couldn't work it out because I'm thinking, oh, am I seeing, you know, what the hell am I seeing here? Because it was completely, because like I travel through a portal and I land there, and it's like, but it's just really green, and also with a lot of gold, and I can and generally, you know, that's where I see Mother Serpent all the time, incidentally, and you know, and very, very colourful, very, very iridescent. I can't even explain to you the hues of colour because it's just so it pops.
Yeah,
you know, it's completely different. It's out of this world, I guess. So probably that's why
it is. That's what we are co-creating, you know, we are anchoring it in, we are making space for it, we transmuting all that that needs to be transmuted, we helping the systems to really fall apart, and we don't do it because we are naive, we do it because we are very practical.
And it's really interesting because Dimension Diving Dancer was just saying, but now understand. I think she means, but now I understand. And Jolene saying vibrant. She's also saying this is making me realise that's where I was when I did the collective meditation the other day. So, you know, I don't believe in coincidences. So for all of us to be experiencing this and exactly the same experience.
Absolutely.
And I think that's proof, right? Absolutely proof.
And I think sometimes we do need, even though we have that knowing and we know our own experience is valid, it is nice to get that reassurance from each other and that validation that we haven't lost the plot, we're not getting crazy, that did actually happen.
Go nuts.
And, you know, we're all experiencing, you know, like when we do the group work, and we have that collective experience, which is the message of where we are, what we've achieved, and where we're going, what the next step is, that type of thing. And we all have that overlap, if you like, in our experience, but then we all have our own little, what I like to call it, sacred side salad of something to do with our journey as well, which is kind of helping our soul growth and helping us develop and stay in flow.
And Jolene's saying that's how we measure, and yeah, that's exactly how we measure. Jolene's spot on, and Bessie's saying, you know, it's remarkable. So yeah, Bessie, Jolene, Lauren, Dimension Diving Dancer, we're all experiencing the same thing. So it's just like, and they're all soul family too. So
absolutely.
It's just been great being able to connect with your soul family this year as well.
And also meeting all the beings as well. Obviously, Divine Mother is, you know, the most, you know, say the most important, but she, you know, it is all about her. You know, but ascended masters and, you know, the angelic realm and the galactic beings and stuff. I'd never experienced anything like this before, other than the angelic realm, which I was very grateful for. But, you know, to be working in a certain area and then a certain ascended master comes in because that's their expertise, or then you learn along the way how to help Mother, you know, to use the violet flame. And Saint Germain was suddenly there, Saint Germain, and who's this person, and, you know, get used to his energy imprint. And then off he went with this sense of urgency and what he was doing there, and realizing then I was working with the violet flame, and who he was afterwards, or Kuan Yin coming in and sort of dancing over, zigzagging over, and making her presence known, and just her gentle, sort of soft spirit, and, you know, the divine feminine, you know, and that divine feminine and divine masculine working together without, you know, being united, and seeing them coming together, you know, and sort of, you know, spinning, and that turning into the spiral, and just, it all makes so much sense. But you experience it and then you learn afterwards what it means. And yeah, I'm just so grateful for all of it, really. It's just such a journey. And I'm grateful for all of them.
Yeah, I'm just getting conscious now that we're coming up to an hour and a half. Addie, was there anything that you wanted to wrap up with before we start wrapping up?
Yeah, basically what you beautiful angels just said, the power of collective effort is absolutely stunning. You know, each one of us holds specific coding in the light body. And if you do your work alone, that's great. But if you connect with beautiful soul family, and we align even across time zones, even though time doesn't exist, but the power of collective alignment, that is how these changes were possible. And I know what we have done. I know that you know it too. And that is because this collective. You couldn't do it on your own. I couldn't do it on my own. But together we have done so much, and we will do much more. And like you said, Ali, like when you have a coding in your light body where it resonates, let's say, with Saint Germain, then you bring that energy with you. And if somebody has Kuan Yin with them, and imagine if we are, I don't know, 20, 30, 50 people doing an alignment together, and each one of us brings the coding that they have in their light body, then it's like a big party.
Yeah, I know. It's been such a honor to have you on, Addie, and please come back on again.
Thank
you know,
you
and
much.
Share with us, you know, where we're at in the journey then, and just, you know, anyone who feels called to, you know, come and do the work with us, then please, you know, don't think, oh, you know, I couldn't do that. If you feel in your heart that, you know, a calling, then just come and try, and just in meditation, do the breath, and just let your higher self guide you. And it's just living from the heart and wanting to help and make that difference, and staying open, and just everything that Addie and Liz have said, really. You know.
Thank you so much.
Family.
Thank you so much, Addie. We absolutely loved having you.
Love you so much.
I'm going to stop streaming. Thanks, everyone, for